Gail, and welcome back to Gail's Low Carb Recipe Ideas. That's my YouTube channel, and then I have my blog. It's lowcarbrecipeIdeas.com. Well, today we're going to make a graham wafer crust lemon square dessert. Now, this is my secret for my graham wafer crust. If you follow me on my YouTube channel, the last one I did was lupin flour bread, croutons and breadcrumbs. Well, I opened it up. These are the breadcrumbs I made. I opened them up and I smelled it and I said, honey, my husband, I said, do you smell this? Tell me what you smell. And he took a smell and he goes, oh, that smells like graham wafers. And I thought, you know what? Why can't I make crust out of this? I'll put a little sweetener in it, a little bit of cinnamon in it, and then we're going to have a graham wafer crust. So in this recipe, I will show you how to make the crust, and then we'll make the great lemon dessert that goes on top of the crust. It's really good. So let's get started, and I'll show you how to make it. Now, I will put the link for the breadcrumbs crouton on underneath this video so that you can go there. And basically I'm using the lupin flour bread, and I take the crusts, and if I've got some pieces that weren't that great, I cut them up into squares, put them in the oven, and then got them all dried out and then made them into breadcrumbs, or I made them into croutons. I don't like the croutons as much. They're okay, but I love this as breadcrumbs. So what I've got is I've got 1 cup, and I finally ground the breadcrumbs. I did try it just pulsing it to leave it a little bit crummier, but I liked it better that it was finer. So I have 1 3/4 cups of breadcrumbs, and that's approximately 208 grams. I'm not exact on the grams, but that's pretty darn close. Then I'm going to add in a 1/2 cup plus 6 tablespoons of sweetener, which is around 119 grams. And the sweetener I'm using is erythritol monk fruit, and I powder mine all the time. Absolutely powder everything, because it doesn't dissolve as well in the oven or if you're doing it on the stove. So the next I'm going to add, I'm just going to add a little taste of cinnamon. So I have 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon. So I think I'll just get my whisker here. And we'll just blend this all together. Make sure you have it really blend well. I think you're going to be surprised. I don't think anybody would know any different. And then here you are looking at a better carb count compared to what you get with the graham wafer. So I'm just going to have this all mixed up. And then the next thing we're going to do is we need to add in some melted butter, which is just the same. It smells nummies. So we're going to add in a 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and that is approximately 178 grams. So I'm going to pour it in, get my spatula and get everything out. I hate to waste stuff. And if I had any more rubber gloves, I would have used rubber gloves, but I have run out. So I just cleaned the crumb mixture off of my whisker here. You don't have to put as much butter in. I just did because I like it to be nice and firm and hold together really well. But it's got a great flavor. It smells good with the cinnamon in it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1/2 of the crumb mixture, and I have a 7 by 11 Pyrex dish. Now, very easily you can double this up and have the larger 11 by 13. I think that's the measurement. So we're just going to take 1/2 of the crumbs And I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to press it in on the bottom of the pan. So normally I have rubber gloves, but I haven't been buying them because with this COVID, they've upped the price like crazy. So I'm just taking a piece of parchment paper and I'll work at this. It's going to take a couple minutes to flatten this out and make it all nice and even. But I'll be back with you when I have it all put together. So I left about half, a little less than half in the pan, in the bowl, because I'm going to sprinkle this on top of the dessert after it's finished. So we're just going to set this aside. You have two options. You can put this in the oven at 325 for about 8 minutes, or you can just put it in the fridge after you have it all put together, because it's just going to harden the butter. That's basically all it's doing anyway. So we're going to set this aside and we're going to start making the filling. So now we're going to make the lemon filling. So the first thing I've got is I've got a cup of cold water and I have a package of Knox gelatin. So we're going to dissolve it in the water. Make sure I get it all out. And also I have a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. So we're just going to mix this in here. Make sure I got it. And I want to mix it really well. I don't want it lumpy. So just take your time and make sure you've got it mixed well. And my xanthan gum, in case you're not familiar with it, it's the product I have is Bob Red Mills, and that's how you spell xanthan gum. Okay, so I think I have it all dissolved. Now we're going to go to the stove and start adding stuff to our saucepan. Now I don't have my burner on yet, but I have my saucepan, and the first thing we're going to add in is 1 cup of fresh lemon juice. Now my lemons were kind of small, so I ended up using 5 of them to get a cup of fresh lemon juice. I took out the seeds, left most of the pulp in, because that just gives it that extra flavor, which I like. Now we're going to add in 4 teaspoons of lemon zest. Now what that took about, it did take 2 lemons, and lemon zest is the peel of the lemon. And what I did was I have this little gadget here where I just put it together and then you grind off the peeling off of the lemon. So the next thing we're going to add in is 1 cup of my combination erythritol and monk fruit. Now I powder mine, and I like it powdered because it dissolves a lot better when it is powdered. The granule, I find it doesn't dissolve as easily, so as soon as I buy it, I take it out of the package and I powder it all up. And I'm doing it this way so that I don't have any lumps of any sort. Okay, now we're going to add in our 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I'm using Himalayan salt. And then I've got 3 egg yolks that I separated the egg from the yolk. I gotta make sure I get it all out. My egg yolk, my 1 egg yolk wasn't very large, so lots of times it just gives that extra color that we like in the lemon filling. So we'll stir this all up. And then once we've got this mixed well, remember when we did that cup of water with the thickeners in it? We're going to add in this cup of water, which has the gelatin and the xanthan gum in it. I'm just going to get my spatula again. Make sure I've got all the extra out. Now we're going to turn the burner on, and I have to keep an eye on it because I don't want it to stick to the bottom and I don't want it to be lumpy. So we're just going to heat this up and get it nice and thick. And this is the time where you could taste it and decide whether if it's too tart for you or if it's, I don't think it's too sweet. Whoops, I'm spilling it. But if it's too tart, you could add a little more erythritol, monk fruit, or with sweetener, whatever you would desire. So I've got a lot of bubbles on top because I've been whisking to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom. But basically what I want is I want the erythritol monk fruit to dissolve. And now I'm going to put in a tablespoon of butter. And I'm just going to let this heat up. Now you have to remember it's going to be runny because gelatin sets when it's in the fridge, when it gets cold. So once I've got the butter melted and I let this bubble for a couple of minutes, making sure that my erythritol monk fruit is dissolved nicely because we don't want it crystallizing at all, then I'll put it in the fridge and let it cool down a bit, and then we will pour it into our crust and then we'll make our topping. So you can see it's gently bubbling and it has thickened up somewhat, and I'm happy with that. Actually, I let this, it took a little while because I just did all my dishes and got them all put away. I use a lot of dishes when I'm doing these videos. Anyway, I'm going to shut it off and I'm going to place it in the fridge and let it cool down a little bit. So this is the last part of our recipe, and I'm going to put in some cream cheese, a block of cream cheese, which is about 250 grams. I'm using the light. I normally buy regular, but I just happen to have light this time. And I freeze mine. And I let it sit out on the counter and thaw it out, and we're all set. So it's perfect, just perfect. Now we're going to add in our erythritol combination, erythritol monk fruit. And I have 6 tablespoons, and I've got it powdered as usual. I powder it all the time, and I repeat it many times on my videos, but I just feel it's the best. So we're going to get this set up here, a suction cup here, and we are going to mix this. So you can see I've got it mixed in there. I'm just going to take my spatula and I'm going to scrape down the sides. I got a lot stuck in the beater bar itself. But now what I'm going to do is I have whipping cream, 35% whipping cream, and I have 1.5 teaspoons of lemon extract. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gradually put it in the mixture while it is beating. So I'm going to put it back down and I will gradually start adding it in, and then it'll get thicker. We want it to be nice and fluffy. So we'll put it down. I've got my cream here. Actually, I don't want to have an accident. I should have a picture to make it easier. But I'll pour a little bit in now. You can see this is a cup worth. I'm just going to pour a little bit in to get started, and then I'll gradually add more. The lemon extract I added. So it's got nice texture. I've taken my time and tried to clean off as much as I could get off of this, and then I'll lick the rest. It's so tasty. I love cream cheese with sweetener in it. A little bit of lemon flavor. Very nice. Okay, now we're gonna hopefully get everything put together. Now I know this is the scary part, but it works, so don't be scared about it. I took my lemon mixture, which is very runny, out of the fridge, and I am just going to pour it on top of the crust. And then I am going to put it back in the fridge and let it set. And then once it's set, we can put our topping on, our cream cheese topping. Okay, we've got everything set. The lemon is set in the fridge, and that took a couple of hours. It didn't really take that long. And this is my granddaughter. This is Charlie. Can you say hi?
Hi.
She's going to help me put everything together. So we've already made the topping. This is the cream cheese, and you tasted it, didn't you? Yeah, nice. Okay, so let's put it on top. Oh, it's good, isn't it, Charlie? Yeah. Okay, and we're going to spread it around. Can you help, Grandma? Okay, let's see what we can do here. Go slow. You put your hand on there. Atta girl. We're going to just spread it around. Make it pretty. Okay, I think we got that quite even. I'll get the spatula and we'll try and clean this off a little bit.
Then I can eat some.
Can you taste it? Yep, Grandma will let you taste it. There you go. You can lick the knife. You can lick that. And then this is the leftover crumbs that we had. So we're going to sprinkle them on top. I have 2 grandbabies here visiting with me this weekend, which is lovely. What a girl, you're doing a great job. So that's it. That is our great lemon dessert. So now we're going to have to put it in the fridge, let it nice and cold, and we'll cut it up, and then we will try it. Okay, Charlie? All right. So this is my low-carb lemon square dessert. It's very good. It's a little tart, but that's up to you as to how much sweetener you'd like to put in. And this is my granddaughter, Riley. Can you say hi? Say hi. She's the newest addition to our family. You want to try some?
No, I'm going to say.
Is it good?
Hi.
Come over.
Grandma going to try some too? Mm-hmm.
Mama, I'm going to say
It's very delicious. And I've got another granddaughter that wants to be in the video. So these are my both granddaughters, Charlie and Riley. They came to visit me for the weekend, and it's so good. You want some? Oh, it's like a little bird. She thinks it's quite tasty. You want to try some, Charlie? No, thank you. Well, Grandma will take some. Take a little bit more. It's a nice change. It's very good. So if you'd like to go to lowcarbrecipeIdeas.com, try this recipe and try some of my others. You take care, and I'll see you soon. You want more? Yes. Take care. Bye-bye. So I thought I would just end my video. My kids have gone home, my grandbabies have gone home, and I felt like I really missed saying some things I wanted to say about this dessert. Now this is the size that I cut them. There's about 15 servings that I'm taking with this dessert. It's very rich, it's very good, and actually it almost reminded me more of a key lime dessert than lemon. It's a little tart. It's really, really good, but it's the crust. This is my lupin flour breadcrumb crust. It's amazing. You would never ever know that that is breadcrumbs instead of the graham crackers. So the next day, it's wonderful. I just got a chance for everything to really set and cool. I really don't have much left. This is the last that I have left, but it's a really, really good dessert, and the crust is amazing. You can make your lemon pie, your other kind of desserts with your graham wafer, and then I just crumbled the graham wafer on top. I don't think I needed to use as much butter as I did in it. It's still delicious, but if you are kind of counting calories, you could probably cut back a little bit on the butter on the crumbs, but delicious. So anyway, if you'd like to go to lowcarbrecipe.ideas.com, you can check out this recipe, and you can check out a lot of my other recipes. You take care, and please stay safe with this awful COVID business going on in the world, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.